Hi guys, it's Ellie. So today we're going to be going over converting from decimals to mixed numbers and the other way as well. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and here we go. So we're going to get some practice in. So we're going to write 5 1/2 as a decimal. So I'm going to write it right here, 5 1/2. So there are a few different ways to do this. So for this one particularly, the way that I would do this is looking at the fraction. So this is a fraction where I already know what it's equal to as a decimal. This is a pretty common one. So I know that 1/2 as a decimal can be written as 0.5. So for this one, the way that I would do it is, since 1/2 equals 0.5, and I know that this is the same thing as writing 5 plus 1/2, this also equals 5 plus 0.5, which is going to be equal to 5.5. So I would recommend, if you know what the fraction is equal to as a decimal, I would recommend just adding them like that, because it makes it a lot easier. Another way that you could do this, if you weren't sure, is you could convert this into an improper fraction by doing 5 times 2. So you multiply 5 by the denominator, and then you get, so 5 times 2 equals 10. And then that's going to go to, you're going to put that number in the numerator, so that's going to be equal to 11/2. So I hope that makes sense. I just multiplied 5 times 2 and then added this 1. So that's how I got 11/2 for the improper fraction. And so if you were doing the improper fraction here, you would just then do 11 divided by 2, which you can use long division for, or you can also look at this and say, I'm dividing a number by 2. So I know that 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5, and 11 is 1 more than that. So what's half of 1? 0.5. So 5.5. So those are two different ways to do it. I would definitely recommend the first way. So try to remember that 1 divided by 2 equals 0.5, because that will really help you out. So I'm going to just plug this one in. And let's go to the next one. So 4 4/5. So this gets, again, a little bit more tricky, because you might not know what 4/5 equals. So sorry, 4 4/5. So this is going to be the same thing as writing 4 plus 4/5. So so I think a good way to do this one would be to write this in terms of tenths, because tenths, we know what those are going to be equal to as a decimal. Like, for example, I know that you guys know this. So 1/10, that's going to be equal to 0.1, because this is also known as 1/10. So you probably even say it like that, 1/10. So I know that 5 goes into 10, or I know that I can multiply 5 by something to get it to equal 10. So I'm going to do 4 divided by 5, and then I'm going to multiply this by 2/2, because that's going to give me an equivalent fraction, since 2/2 is equal to 1, and it's going to be over 10. So 8/10 is what I'm going to get. So that means that this is 8/10. So that's 0.8. So for this one, we can do 4 plus 0.8, and that's going to give me 4.8 as a decimal. So that is definitely what I would think is the easiest way to do that one. So 4.8. Let's see, what do we have next? 5 1/5. Okay, another similar one to the last one. So this is also equal to 5 plus 1/5. Sorry, 1/5. Okay. So let's do the same thing here that I did on the last one. So since we know that 1/5 I can easily convert that into something over 10. I'm gonna get, so 1 over 5 times 2 over 2 again, because we know that 2 times 5 is 10. So this is gonna give me 2 over 10. So that's 2/10, which is equal to 0.2. So then 5 plus 0.2 is equal to 5.2. So it's definitely pretty nice when you can convert it to tenths. All right. Oh, all right. So now we're going to write something as a mixed number. So we have 4.25. So 4.25. So that's going to be equal, that's same thing. It's going to be equal to 4 plus 0.25. Now, some of you might know what this is equal to. It's another pretty common fraction, but let's think. So the way that I would approach this kind of thing is, so I know that 0.25, I know that I can multiply that by something to equal 0.5. So by something to equal 0.5. And the reason that I would do that again is because from up here, you guys probably know that 0.5 is equal to 1/2. So that would make it easier if I could convert this to something that I know. So let's see. What is going to get me this? So I can also, I'm going to just rewrite this in terms of larger. I'm going to multiply everything by 100. So it's a little bit, so it's not multiplying by decimals. So this is going to equal 50. So let's think. What 25 times what equals 50? So I happen to know that 25 times 2 equals 50. So we can rearrange this equation. So I can just divide, I can switch it back to the decimal form. So it's going to be 0.25 times 2 equals 0.5, which I know is equal to 1 over 2. So we have 0.25 times 2 equals 1 over 2. And from here, all I have to do to get what 0.25 is as a fraction is 0.25 equals 1/2 divided by 2. So that is going to equal, so when you're dividing, you can actually just, when you're dividing a fraction, you can actually just multiply, so I can write it, I'll write it again, so it's a little clearer. So we can get 2 times 2 on the bottom, because that's, if you're multiplying by like the reciprocal, that's how it'll end up working. So here, let me also rewrite that as dividing by the reciprocal. So 1/2 times, so the reciprocal of 2 is actually 1 over 2. So it's 1/2 times 1/2. So then we're going to get 1/4. So 0.25 is equal to 1/4. So then we know that 4 plus 1 over 4 is going to equal 4 and 1/4. Sorry. Okay, so I hope that made sense. 1, 4. Perfect. So we're just going to do one more question, and it's going to be 6 7/10. So we're going to convert that to a decimal. 6 7/10. So this is similar to the earlier examples. This one's actually going to be pretty easy because it's in tenths. So that's great. We love tenths. So I have 6 plus 7 over 10 is going to be equal, is the same thing as this. So sorry, these two things are equal. And we know that 7 over 10, since that's tenths, I can just go 0.7. So that's equal to 7/10. Perfect. So 6 plus 7/10 is going to be 6.7. So not too bad. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. And I hope that that was helpful. Have a good one. Bye.